Hello, Chandra here. I could not be more excited that you took me up on this offer. This practice I'm going to teach you, this blissful breath, has not only changed my life, but changed the lives of so many of my private clients. In particular, let me just give you an example of what that means. I had one client who I worked with who came in literally with a 10 out of 10 on this pain scale. Now, this doesn't happen for every single client, of course, but this was a shining moment. And that client left with a 0 out of 10 on the pain scale. I will tell you this, that while every client may not leave from a 10 to a 0, and not every client comes in with a 10 anyway, but every client who does this practice will feel less pain and discomfort in their bodies, in their mentality, in their emotionality, if they do the practice. So you see how this has the chance of a lifetime to really make a difference in your life, right? Yeah. So know this. This practice, it relaxes, it refreshes, it gives a sense of peace, it gives a sense of calm, it centers and grounds and focuses both your body and your mind, and it really does a wonderful job of soothing your nerves, right? So we're getting in this hustle of life so much, and I'm creating this anti-hustle movement. It was something that when I was in it actually almost took my life. So I had to find a way, as you can tell, to manage things so that I could live a life of harmony. I could live a life that sets me on the path for bliss, because I was done with living that other way. So know that if you also do this practice, that it stimulates your immune system. So often I will do this when I feel a cold coming on, or I will advise people to do it. I don't have allergies, but some people I work with have allergies, and so I advise them to do this practice to stimulate their immune system so that they can lessen, and eventually, if they keep doing it, get rid of their immunity or their allergies. So you can use it for those purposes. You can also use this to really stimulate healing on all levels. It purifies your entire system and gives, in that sense, as a way for this positivity for life to bubble up and through you. This is the bliss I'm talking about. You actually really carry that bliss inside of you. And we do a lot of things in our life which cut it off and create this resistance. And so this practice is one to open up and release that tension and let the resistance melt off, so that your normal way of being, this bliss that is you internally, that you might not be connecting to all the time now, but you can use this blissful breath as a way and means to actually achieve that and come into connection with that within you. So I couldn't advise you to do it more if not for that reason, but then there's all the physical reasons too, like the pain we discussed. People who have asthma, it's good for those folks to do this breath. If you have high blood pressure, it's another reason to do this breath. Coronary troubles, it is beneficial for that as well, and it really helps to improve your sleep. So I use it sometimes to, well, often. I'm a little bit like Pavlovian dog now with it. When I lay down to go to sleep, my throat muscles, which is what I'll teach you, will start to come in as I lay my head on the pillow. And it does help me go to sleep. But the really great news is that when I have a night where I really can't sleep, I will do this practice, and I'll do it as consciously as long as I can, because 3 hours of this breath actually is the equivalent of a whole night's sleep. Now, most of us don't normally have 3 hours to do something like this, but if you're laying there anyway, then you can do it. You're there to sleep anyway, and it will rejuvenate you. and I have put that to the test. But most of us will, not necessarily not sleep all night, but we'll have trouble getting to sleep. And 15 minutes is equal to 1 hour of sleep. So know that in this video series, what I'm giving you is 2 videos. One is for someone who's on the go, or we're in the middle of our workday and maybe we just had a difficult client call, or we found out that the supplies or the materials that we ordered aren't going to be in time, or something like that, or our child is going through a stressful situation and we need to be ready and centered and grounded for them when they come. Know that you can do a couple minutes of this practice and it will shift your state. So in this video series, I have gifted you not 1 or 2, but 3. We have the instruction video and 1 video that's 2 minutes long to help you in that place when you need to kind of center and ground and shift your state. And then I've created a 15-minute video where I guide you through being able to do this practice for that hour and really immersing a little more in the practice, getting to connect with all the blissful possibilities that come from doing the practice. And because it takes you inward, it actually sets the stage, primes the pump for you to go into meditation. How many of us actually complain of this monkey mind syndrome? Our minds are very active. They're always thinking and anticipating, and they're kind of going forward in life, right? Instead of really being present and noticing what's happening now. And so when you do this practice, it takes you from the outward hustle and bustle to an inward centered focus where you can connect with that space and allow for that meditation to be a lot more deep, a lot more smooth. So these are only a few of the many other benefits that you can achieve by doing this practice. But now let me tell you 3 situations where you would not want to do it. It is actually contraindicated for you if you are someone who is on immunosuppressant drugs. This usually looks like someone who has received an organ transplant. So we're trying to not stimulate the immune system for that kind of person so that their body has the ability to actually take in that organ and assimilate it as its own. And so if we raise the immune system up, which is what this practice does, then it will have the tendency to want to fight this new tissue that's saving your life. So we don't want to do that. The second situation is if you are passing away. So yes, it may be good for calming and centering when you're in a stressful situation, but if you are someone who is transitioning in life and leaving the body, we're actually letting go of life force at that point. So we would not want to raise that life force with this practice. It would confuse the transitioning. So the last situation is when you are doing something that requires your outward focus. Can we say driving, right? There's probably other situations as well, but driving is the one that's probably the most common for us. So, we need to be very outward focused then, right? We shouldn't be really doing much of anything else other than driving when we're driving. So refrain from doing this practice then as well. You could pull over and do a couple minutes and come back on the road if something's happening where you really need to, again, center and ground and refresh and come back to your sense of peace and well-being again. Okay, so with that, let me teach you how to do the practice. It's really quite simple, but know that if you find this difficult in any way, you can simply just go back to listening to the sound of your normal, easy breathing. And most of the benefits actually come to you from just bringing your awareness to your breath in that way. But if you want to amp it up and do this blissful breath, know that what we're trying to do is narrow the inner throat passageway a little bit. So imagine this is your throat passageway, right? The air's moving through and in your normal easy breathing. And what we are going to do is learn to bring the inner throat muscles in just a little bit. So it's narrowed just a little bit. And that creates a higher or more obvious sound of your breath. And your inner ear will be able to pick up that sound and you can follow it in, just listening to, giving that monkey mind something to do, right? Which is listen to the sound of the breath as it comes in and out. So how you do this is you find the inner throat muscles. They're the same muscles that you would use to cough or clear your throat. So go ahead and try that now. Right? And then you could do it a little more gently even. So you could barely even hear it. And then you would use those throat muscles even more slight still. Just enough to barely bring your throat in, so that the circumference of your throat in. And from there you can begin to hear your breath. And that is how you do this. So there's no straining or forcing. So if you find that while you're doing this, it's really causing you to strain or force, then you know that you're doing too much. You're trying too hard. You probably, that would be too much, right? So loosen up and allow yourself just to close ever so much. And that's it. I know that if you take this practice on, there are so many things in your life that have the potential to change. As you change these things in your life, as you start being more calm, as you start, it's not even managing stress. This is about releasing the stress and melting the tension. And as you start being that person who is relaxed and grounded to yourself and giving yourself this kind of self-love by doing the practice, that things will not only change physically, but mentally, emotionally for you. And as a result of that, what you're attracting into your life is matching and mirroring what you are being. So you can see that this practice has the ability to change not only the inner part of your life, but the mirroring of what's happening on the exterior as well. So with that, I couldn't be more excited to give you these 2 videos so you can use them in the situations that you need, either for a short video or a longer practice. And know that as I lead you through them, you'll go deep. But you can also just do this practice on your own without me leading you through it. Whichever way you choose, I am so excited to hear from you. So when you start noticing the things that are changing, please feel free to contact me and let me know what's happening for you. And if you'd like, please introduce me to others who you think would also benefit from the practice so I can share this with them as well. All right? I'm very excited. I hope you are too. Namaste, and have a blissful day. Bye-bye.